Hello, my name is Ethan Flynn, and this is my final project for a game engine design, which I call a video game called Mouse Quest. So the idea for this video game was that the player is a mouse looking through a area for cheese, and once one cheese is collected, it'll reset the world and put one more cheese in the world than there was last time. So if you found one cheese, now there are two. If you found two, now there are three. And then the game would progressively increase with difficulty, where with every 3 cheeses found, it would introduce a trap where if you stepped on the trap, the game would end and it would display how many cheeses you found. And then every 5, there would be a cat put into place, and the cat would move around the screen at kind of a random way. If the cat would find you, the game would end similarly to if a trap finds you. The idea would be see how far you could go before the game ends. So my first thoughts were I had to get some counters in place, but this game didn't pan out how I would have liked to, and many of the directions I found I kind of hit dead ends and tried to find more research and read more documentation, but could not find out the best way to get my plan really going. So firstly, I wanted to use the waypoint aspect of once the mouse enters the waypoint of a cheese, the cheese would disappear, and then increase a cheese count by 1, and the cheese max would be equal to 1 more than its previous. So I couldn't figure a way how to get this all really working too well, but I think this was still the best way that I would have been able to. This was the direction I should have gone. So firstly, one of the ideas I wanted to do was get WASD introduced, and that would move the mouse object. I didn't really have enough time to go looking into how to connect an actor to the camera. So currently all I have WASD hooked up to is moving the camera around. So click D, move to the right, click A, move to the left, click S, move the opposite direction that you're looking, click W, move the direction you're looking. So firstly, here we have the cat. I wasn't able to fully get the collection and deletion and restart application that the game is sort of based around going, so I wasn't able to explore further with how the cat moved around, but as you can see, there's a count. I thought of doing a counter for the cat, which is equal to the max amount of cheese divided by 5, and then loop through that and create cats around the world equal to that many. To kind of debug, I just placed a cat in the world to see that it would work, rotated the object so that it would sort of be leveled up against the ground, and then push it onto the world stack, named cat, and then later on I'll show kind of how I started getting the cat waypoint going. Here's the mouse. Couldn't figure exactly how to get it moving around, but here's kind of its starting position, which is a little bit below the camera. Had to rotate a little bit so that it would be facing the start position as the camera. Then the cheese, it would be create and stack onto the world map as many times as there was the cheese max. Here's my object files. Again, just sort of a debugging location. No need to rotate it, but I just put that in there in case I did. Just never really took it out. Trap, sort of the same as the cat. Its count is equal to the cheese max over 3. And then this is supposed to be in everything's kind of supposed to be in random location except the mouse. But for debugging, I kind of just put them wherever. And then again, might have needed to rotate it, because I didn't need to rotate previous objects. Then the skybox, the light. Oh, skybox textures light, the actual skybox itself, grass, then creating the waypoints. So here I had it set to you had to interact with the cheese for about 2 seconds before it disappeared, and then the waypoint would trigger the onTrigger function, and then sort of the bare bones that I put back in here after just constant moving around and trying to figure out ideas that I could get. I took them out just so I could get something compilable and runnable. Then the onTrigger would be the same in case it was the cat or the trap. That would just kill it. I couldn't figure out how to get the game to fully exit out. Yep, if the waypoint is triggered, do onTrigger. For the cat and the trap, I decided to do 500 milliseconds, half a second, because you hit it, you're just done. And then it's supposed to be a little bit in front of the cat and a little bit above the trap. Currently they're in kind of debug positions. Right, so see this run. So throughout the year I had issues with my models and that their textures wouldn't connect on because there was issues with their tangents, and then the mousetrap object was sort of corrupted, but it was the only one I could find, so currently it's just kind of a square. But here I'm moving with the mouse, and now as we can see I have the jittery version of WASDA in place. I planned on upgrading it, but got too sidetracked trying to figure out how the waypoints could work around and how to successfully do that. And then of course I couldn't hook my mouse up to the camera. And then what this would do is normally wait 2 seconds and then the cheese would disappear, but currently I just have the onTrigger standard that it has nothing in it to do. And then half a second die, but couldn't fully figure out onTriggers. My best way to fix all of this would probably to create individual classes for the different objects and kind of make like a cat's signature own onTrigger with the waypoint so that I could distinguish it, and same for the trap, kind of inherit from the cat, and in the cat's functionality I could do a movement function that I just constantly change the I could just have it constantly moving forward and rotate it in certain directions according to a set timer. The mouse, just really I needed to figure out how to connect it to the camera, and if I could get physics working on my computer, it just absolutely refused every single time I tried to do it. I probably wouldn't need the waypoints at all and probably could do just kind of a collision test. Probably still would need the waypoints or a frustra involved for the cat, and then would most likely just need would definitely need a waypoint for the trap. So I kind of see the directions that I should have been going for this, but just couldn't figure them out, how to flush them out in time, and kind of thought of them a little too late. But this is sort of the kind of idea that I was trying to go for, and how I was able to try and get sort of close. Thank you for your time.